I'd got a single seat recommendation back in '94 when I left and went to Scampton. They'd already said, right, if Matt wasn't going to Scampton, we'd be sending him to the Jaguar. Um, and I was over the moon with that. Obviously, not necessarily over the moon with, I'd rather be going to Coltishall. Well, Lossiemouth and then Coltishall on the Jaguar back then. But I knew I'd got it in the bag. In so much as long as I went back and performed, obviously, on my refresher, then hopefully, if there's a slot, I might get a single seat aircraft out of it, which was either the Jaguar or the Harrier at that point. So that's what I was aiming for. I had no preconceptions. I didn't know. You don't, going through training, know how many slots there are available. You only find out on your roll disposal night, this is what we think you're capable of doing. And by the way, there is a slot. A lot of people who have got single seat recommendations don't end up in single seat airplanes because they weren't around then. So it was very much luck of the draw. But I went back, did the refresher to the best of my ability, and they said, no, you're still single seat material. So I went, fantastic, held my breath, and the rest is almost history, in so much as the roll disposal night, I actually wasn't at Harrier Valley. I was back doing my instructing job. I'd gone back to Linton-on-Ouse. So the refresher had taken place whilst I was still a Tucano instructor. I went and did it and went, well, I don't know when my OCU is going to start. There's no point hanging around at Valley. I live at Linton-on-Ouse. I literally sort of deployed myself to Valley. So, there was no moving. My stuff was all in the mess in Yorkshire. So I'd gone back there and said, look, just call the bar. It was a Friday night. I'm in the bar at Linton-on-Ouse. The rest of the main course who were graduating, who I'd been attached to do this refresher, were going through their roll disposal over at Valley on that Friday night. And I said, look, the arrangement is I'll be at Linton-on-Ouse. You just call me. So that's what they did. So the bar telephone, days. This is almost before mobile phones. This is this is 90. Where are we? We're at this point 97. So this is sort of pre-mobile phone days. There was a phone at the back of the bar.
Yeah.
Bang, off it goes. Flight to Doncaster, telephone call, and it's one of the instructors at Valley, and he goes, mate, you're going to Wittering. And I went, what? And of course the whole bar is like silence. I said, say it again. He said, you're off to Wittering, mate. Well done. Best of British. And by the way, and they named the other guys off the course who were going there as well. And I went, wow, okay, thanks so much. Right, cheers. Put the phone down, and I turn around, and the whole bar is like, what? And I said, I'm off to Wittering. The beers are on me. And that was it. And, that was it. And it didn't really sink in, until I spoke to my station commander at the time. It was Richie Thomas, a former Red One, former Harrier guy. And he took me to one side. He goes, mate, you are going to have an absolute whale of a time. He said, I'm over the moon for you. Congratulations, well done. But rest assured, it's bloody hard work, but it's so worth it in the end. You are going to have a great time. Congratulations. And then bought me a pint. And I thought, well, that's that works for me. So that was it. I then packed my stuff up, did the inevitable move. I went down to Wittering. You drive through the gates at Wittering. There's a Harrier, parked as a gate guardian. Well, oh crikey, here we go. This is going to be, quite something. Into the mess. I'd got friends on the Harrier at that point. There were a couple of guys who, from my era, had gone because obviously I've done my instructing thing. I'm out of phase. I'm out of sync with my my generation. So there were a couple of guys there, and bump into them in the mess, and then just set to, and we start the OCU, and this is nearly 7 years after I joined the Air Force. I finally make it close to the front line. So it's been quite a journey at this point.